you know, he made $100 million, you know, and he's his own boss. He can say and do what he wants to do, having a great team.
Yeah.
Because no one person can do it by himself. That was the core of the team.
Gotcha.
You know, and it was a tremendous sacrifice, you know, especially for me. I worked like 15 years straight, 7 days a week, 20 hours a day.
Wow.
You know, that whole middle part of my life,
yeah,
it didn't exist. It didn't exist.
And now you have this egg on your face and things are falling apart. And now people are wondering, did you get screwed, or was it your own financial ignorance, and now you're bitter?
People taking shots at a great fighter, Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing a great fall, potentially.
You're right,
fall.
but when you call yourself the money man, you do it to yourself a little bit too.
No, I can't argue with that.
Leonard Ellerbe recently spoke about Floyd Mayweather losing his $1.1 billion fortune and ending up broke. He described the situation as unsurprising. Having worked with Floyd in the past, Leonard saw firsthand the lavish spending that ultimately caused major financial problems.
Saying from day one what it is that, and they know everybody laughed at me. They laughed at me. They said, "Oh, you know, he just talking nonsense." I've been told, all of you.
Leonard Ellerbe points out that with Floyd Mayweather's rise to immense fame and success, criticism is inevitable, and the true challenge is seeing how he responds to it.
At the end of the day, when you're on top, when you're at the top, you can expect criticism. It just comes with success, and it's all about how you handle things. And me personally, none of this personal. None of his.
Leonard Ellerbe believes that Floyd had the potential to establish a successful business career if he had approached his ventures thoughtfully and made more careful choices.
Who formed his own company,
right?
But he was the first one that had a team surrounded by him. That our focus was the business, and his focus was the boxing. And in turn, we built the brand, built Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
And Floyd became his own boss.
Wow.
And that was
Logan Paul has ridiculed Floyd Mayweather Jr., saying he is still waiting on the $1.5 million that was never paid from their exhibition match.
Because he's still waiting on the 1.5 from Floyd Mayweather. He made this video simultaneously with the beef with Le'Veon, and I don't know, maybe it's coincidence, maybe it isn't.
Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao 2. The fight nobody asked for except me. I need this because if Floyd wins, he can finally pay me my 1.5 million. I don't care about the legacy fight. I don't care that these men have a combined age of 100 years. I care that Floyd Mayweather, the best boxer alive, uses those same hands that made him 100 million to Venmo me my money. And Floyd, if you're watching this, win it and pay me back or I'm gonna send my goons after you. Gotcha. Hey.
I really don't know why I watched that. Yeah, listen, dude. Logan is, again, functionally a coward for not doing this. I was really excited for it, too. I couldn't wait. That was about to be content, son. But, I mean, okay, yes, I understand if he is under WWE contract, they're not going to allow him to do so.
The Atlas notes that the fans who once celebrated Floyd are now the ones mocking him, finding humor in his dramatic downfall.
Yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, blew his money, whatever. Look, I don't know what the truth is fully in there. I know Steven Espinoza was named. He ran Showtime at the time. He was named him. I never was a fan of Espinoza. Again, I'm not afraid to say and not mince my words when I feel a certain way. And I've taken arrows for it, and of course I've also taken some praise for it. That people say, hey, Teddy's going to say what he feels. I was never a fan of him. I never thought he was a man that kept his word. I never thought he really did a great job over at Showtime. I mean, they put some good fights on because the fights were available, because the landscape made it.
100 insists that Floyd Mayweather isn't truly broke, emphasizing that he remains wealthy in peace of mind, completely unaffected by rumors or what people think of his career and life.
You know where Floyd is rich at right now?
What's that?
His peace of mind. When I send him things, like I send you things when it's pertaining to you, when he gets to time, he'll call me and he say, hey, Wack, what's that? And I tell him, he said, that's nonsense. He said, well, as long as they trying to figure me out, they not gonna be able to figure out what they need to do. And he continues to move. I will say this without saying too much, that I've seen him pass on some big deals based upon business he already has on the table. But again, I've been to his home. I talk to him regular. He's my business partner.
Ali Molinaggi points out that if Floyd Mayweather Jr. had managed his finances privately, his wealth wouldn't be under scrutiny. However, by showing it off publicly, he invited everyone to take a closer look at his money.
They were seeing how much Floyd was making, right? And Floyd himself was flaunting himself like he was the guy who was making that kind of money. And for all intents and purposes, I assume he was. Everybody assumed he was, and it seemed like he thought he was because he wasn't complaining. He was showing off, you know? This is why, as I get older, I feel like, and everybody always tells you this when you're young, like, keep your finances private, you know, and this is why I think this is a big reason why. First and foremost, you notice that if you don't keep your finances private, everybody and their mothers ask you for money constantly. And they don't ask you for...
That happens either way.
And they don't ask you, well, people assume you have money, but if you flaunt it, you definitely, they confirm you have money. And they don't ask you for money like you need to buy the Rolex or the Lamborghini. They'll guilt you into it. They need their mother's dying in the hospital. They need to pay for a funeral. Their kid is sick. Like, they guilt you into it, and you almost feel bad not giving it.
Boxing analyst examines the unexpected financial troubles of Floyd Mayweather, who was once renowned for showcasing his wealth. Throughout his career, he collaborated with several influential figures, including Steven Espinoza and Showtime, but he is now suing them for $340 million, alleging unpaid funds were concealed. Meanwhile, his longtime advisor, Al Heyman, is not directly involved in this case. Floyd's legal challenges are steadily mounting. The analyst points out that his lavish spending habits likely played a major role in his difficulties, from his extensive car and jewelry collections to owning a private jet.
We are going to go through in this video. Now, I've been covering boxing for double-digit years. Allow me to take you through it. A simple Google search shows Floyd Mayweather. You type in his name, you're going to see some fight photos and whatnot. But the top stories, and there's multiple stories, and we're going to take a look at some of them. But as mentioned, Business Insider is now reporting what you see on the screen, that Floyd Mayweather is being accused in lawsuits of owing millions of dollars for luxury watches, gold, and rent on palatial apartment, right? The bullet points. Floyd was sued for allegedly failing to pay rent on a luxurious duplex.
Expensive apartments, high rents, and unpaid bills began piling up, leading to multiple lawsuits. In Miami, one couple who owns the condo he rented reported that Floyd Mayweather fell behind by around $500,000 in rent. Although he initially made payments, he eventually stopped responding to efforts to recover the money. Analysts note that this pattern of overspending, poor financial management, and depending on others for money decisions eventually caught up with him. They emphasize that even enormous fame and fortune don't guarantee financial security. Top athletes can face bankruptcy if they fail to handle their wealth responsibly.
And this sum represents the $500,000 in arrears plus late fees minus a deposit that Mayweather paid at the start of the lease and the $100,000 catch-up payment. So they deducted what he did submit when he was made aware of this, the $100K, and I guess a deposit. So the remaining balance is that. An attorney for Mayweather did not provide a comment by deadline. He has not responded to the lawsuit in court in a separate legal matter. So we've already went over one with this luxury condo in Manhattan, right? But a separate legal matter, a Miami jeweler sued Floyd Mayweather last month, alleging the boxer owes more than $1 million for jewelry that he took but never paid.
Chris Algier analyzed how Floyd Mayweather, despite earning vast sums, still ran into financial difficulties. Polly Mullen-Agee emphasizes that it's almost unimaginable for someone of Floyd's stature to let such enormous amounts of money slip through the cracks. He compares ordinary purchases, like a Ferrari or luxury jewelry, to the scale of Floyd's earnings. While small expenses might be manageable, the sums he dealt with were far beyond typical financial oversight. Chris Algier adds that during the peak of Floyd's career, losing track of even a single fight's revenue could result in major losses, and over multiple bouts, these oversights compounded into significant financial problems.
Oh, I don't know. Like, there's guys who have a lot of money, okay? For me, I could go into a jewelry store, spend 20,000 at the time, like nothing. Like, you know what? I didn't plan on going there. I bought a Ferrari. I went with my friend to go check out a Ferrari he was gonna buy. I went there and I'm like, I got this in my account. I could buy this right now. You know, like that. You know, and I'm not saying that's smart. But what I'm saying is,
your accountant must have loved you.
yeah, really. but what I'm saying is, I got good money for that when I sold it. I gotta be honest.
I'm just
The used car market came back at the time. But anyway, what I'm saying is, it could go like that, okay? That kind of money. But bro, $340 million? That's not Ferrari, but that's a lot of Ferraris, a lot of houses.
But Floyd had a lot of Ferraris. And that's the thing about Floyd. Like, yes, is that way too much money? Yes, that's a crazy amount.
$340 million?
Polly Mullen-Agee draws parallels to past cases, citing fighters like Mike Tyson, who faced huge financial losses because of poor management and people exploiting them. Both analysts stress that Floyd Mayweather's money troubles didn't happen suddenly, even a decade after earning massive amounts. The situation implies that someone may have brought issues to his attention or is currently auditing his finances. The discussion underscores that even immense fame and wealth don't automatically protect top athletes from financial instability.
Track of an entire fight person, more than one fight, multiple fight
at the height of your career.
$340 million. There's nights where you didn't make that much money in a night.
But we heard about stuff like this with Mike Tyson back in the day. Yeah. Big money losses, people taking advantage of him, a number of different things. Now, all that being said and done, 10 years is the point. That is the major point of all of this. Because when you look about this now, 10 years, where does this come from? It makes me think that someone's gotten in his ear. And maybe, where does this come from out of nowhere? Is he going through the books now, 10 years later? No, of course not. Someone else is. Someone else is probably telling him, hey man, this is like this, this is like that. So you
think it did happen?
I don't know. I think regardless of whether it happened or it didn't,
but that's what I'm wondering.
Unless it's coming out of nowhere, unless he literally is just getting just
he's losing his mind because there's a lot of rumors about him losing money, right?
Losing money, being I don't want to say destitute, but the old saying, the mighty is how.
Boxing journalist Dan Raphael notes that Floyd Mayweather's financial troubles were hardly unexpected after his career. Anyone who closely followed him could foresee it, given the way he publicly flaunted his fortune. His lifestyle was lavish and impossible to miss, with private jets, high-end cars, extravagant vacations, and non-stop displays of wealth. Dan Raphael emphasizes that Floyd lived on a scale most people can hardly imagine, and the world witnessed it all through social media, interviews, and videos.
But the fact that Floyd would encounter some financial issues post his boxing career is not in any way a surprise to me. When you see the types of things that, if you believe anything that he puts on his social media, the travel that he does, the places he goes, and the amount of entourage he has, I mean, that's like a money pit. I mean, whether you're flying on private jets or you're staying at first class hotels or you're, buying expensive jewelry and cars and bags and you name it. I mean, it's all good when you're making those gigantic paydays and they're coming in, a couple times a year. You're making 40 million here and 25 million there, or even more, 100 million plus, when he fought the big mega fights with guys like Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao. But when that stops, that money doesn't,
Dan Raphael highlights that such a spending pattern almost guarantees financial trouble. Even someone as successful as Floyd Mayweather can see massive earnings dwindle if lavish lifestyles go unchecked. Observers watched him traveling in luxury, buying expensive items, and sustaining a lifestyle with enormous ongoing costs. According to Raphael, this situation offers a cautionary tale for athletes and celebrities. No matter how much money comes in, living beyond your means can have serious consequences. The mix of highly visible extravagance, constant high expenses, and long-term financial mismanagement helps explain why Floyd Mayweather now faces financial challenges despite a career filled with record-breaking paydays.
About the $340 million, it just didn't ring true to me because Al Heyman, who is not named in the suit, but apparently is supposedly part of this problem, whatever. But I mean, I've known Al Heyman and covered Al Heyman's fighters and his business since the day he stepped in boxing in like 2002 with Vernon Forrest. And all that time, and literally in terms of the PBC, you know, a couple hundred fighters that he's dealt with, maybe not personally, but that his team is and his company. To a fighter, you never hear anybody, even when they're retired and they're not with Al anymore, nobody talks bad about him. In fact, if you ask most fighters, they'll tell you how good to them that he has been, that type of money that they've helped him make, and the person that he's paid, and the guidance that he's.
Fannin examines Floyd Mayweather's recent legal moves, noting that after running into financial problems, he decided to take action against some of his former business partners. Despite earning over $1 billion throughout his undefeated career, Floyd claims much of that money never reached his personal accounts. The lawsuit specifically targets Showtime and its former president, Steven Espinoza, alleging that they played a role in the financial mismanagement tied to Al Heyman, Floyd's longtime advisor. Fannin points out that while Al Heyman isn't named in the case, Floyd asserts that Showtime and Espinoza significantly assisted in managing the funds.
According to TMZ, let's get to the TMZ. Floyd Mayweather sues Showtime, saying, "I'm missing hundreds of millions of dollars." Floyd Mayweather Jr. says he made over $1 billion in earnings over his legendary career, but the 50-0 fighter claims all the money didn't make it to his bank account. He is now suing Showtime, claiming they played a big role in his ex-manager screwing him out of hundreds of millions of dollars. In the lawsuit, filed by Floyd in California and obtained by TMZ Sports, Mayweather says he's gunning to recover hundreds of millions of dollars in the misappropriated funds and damages resulting from long-running and elaborate financial fraud.
The lawsuit claims that proceeds from major fights, including bouts against Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, were funneled into accounts controlled by Al Heyman instead of going directly to Floyd Mayweather. Years later, when Floyd and his team sought access to Showtime's financial records, they say the documents were either missing or unavailable, raising further concerns about possible misappropriation. Fannin notes that the case illustrates the difficulties even elite athletes face when handling enormous sums of money. Dependence on others, lack of oversight, and mismanagement can result in significant losses, as Floyd now alleges. The analyst emphasizes that Floyd's legal action is an effort to reclaim money he believes was wrongfully withheld, highlighting the complex dynamics between fighters, managers, and media companies in professional boxing.
Those parties to see whether or not this is something that Floyd should have known about, or did know about, or maybe did not understand. Because it seems very, very funny that Floyd would not know that the money was getting paid to Al Heyman and not directly to him. Regardless, I don't know the outcome of that. I will talk about this though. The absolute blatant karma up in Floyd Mayweather's face for all the smack he talked about Muhammad Ali and how Muhammad Ali's name was only worth $50 million and he sold half of his name for $50 million and how he's made so much more money and that makes him all of that. Talked about how Muhammad Ali, I'm sure, or I don't know if he did, but I'd heard, talked about Floyd. Yeah, he did, because he talked about his money and how he had to sell his name because he didn't have his...
Black 100 explains that Floyd Mayweather stays composed and largely unaffected by outside opinions or social media, which he doesn't personally monitor. Much of his wealth is managed through various business ventures, often set up via trusts, corporations, or investment groups, making direct ownership less obvious. This structure helps him maintain financial security, even if it doesn't always appear that way publicly. Despite common misconceptions, Floyd is content and confident in his resources. WAC 100 also stresses that true wealth for Floyd goes beyond money. He finds happiness and fulfillment in family life, often cherishing time spent with his grandson, showing that personal stability and satisfaction matter just as much as financial success.
That's going on out there, it's phasing him, but get to him. He doesn't even control his social media. He doesn't see it. I'm telling you, he doesn't see it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's posting himself. He has someone that
he doesn't see it. He doesn't pay any attention. When I need something done, I have to send it through different channels for it to get done. But no, he's definitely not. I mean, we know that. He has tons of businesses going on. They were making accusations that he didn't own the things he owned. You're not gonna find nothing in Floyd's name directly. You're not gonna find, when you're dealing with that type of money and those type of situations, you know this, Vlad, it's set up. It could be a foundation, a trust.
Yeah, shell companies, corporations, LLCs, whatever.
I know some of these people that they'll say they own 40 different companies, but what it is, they're part of an investment.
That wraps up today's video. Be sure to stay tuned for what's coming next.